Hi there. Today we're going to be looking at how healthcare teams measure leadership, not just to check boxes, but to build strong, effective leaders. We'll break down traditional surveys and the 360-degree feedback to see how they support engagement, accountability, and growth. The goal, finding the best way to grow leadership that drives real healing. Let's talk about how we evaluate healthcare leaders, not just to track progress, but to fuel real growth. Because leadership directly affects patient care, our approach needs to be just as strong. This presentation explores tools like surveys and 360-degree feedback with Ohio Health as our case study. Using modules like Gallup's Q12, we'll uncover strategies that help leaders move from meeting expectations to truly transforming teams. Let's break down how leadership is evaluated in healthcare and why it matters. From surveys to multi-source feedback, we'll explore how the right tools drive stronger teams and better outcomes. Evaluating healthcare leaders isn't just about checking performance. It's about helping them grow and guide stronger teams. This presentation spotlights two key methods: surveys, which offer broad, data-driven insights, and 360-degree evaluations, which gather feedback from all angles for a deeper look. When used together, they provide a well-rounded view of leadership growth. Research backs this up. Robbins links structured feedback to better teams' outcomes. Singh ties assessment to stronger care and innovation. And Marion shows how each model captures different sides of leadership. Now let's look at how surveys help us measure leadership and why it matters. They offer simple, scalable insights that reveal how leaders are performing and where they can grow. Leadership surveys help us learn how leaders are doing from the people who see them in action. They highlight strengths, flag growth areas, and combine numbers with stories. Most use Likert scales for easy tracking and open-ended questions for deeper insight. When done right, they reveal patterns in how leaders communicate, make decisions, and drive results, making them a key tool for improving healthcare. Research backs this up. Marion calls survey essentials for both schools and workplaces. Forbes stresses how simple formats like Likert scales make them effective, and Robbins and colleagues connect these leadership traits to better care and stronger teams. Let's take a look at leadership from every angle. 360-degree feedback pulls in real insights from peers, supervisors, and direct reports, giving leaders a clearer picture of how they're showing up and where they can grow. 360-degree feedback gives a full picture look at a leader's impact through the eyes of peers, supervisors, and team members. It's not just about accountability, it's about understanding how a leader is seen and where they can grow. The focus is on soft skills like communications, emotional intelligence, and teamwork, so it's often used in coaching and training rather than formal reviews. Research backs the value. Robbins notes that diverse input sharpens develop. Maddox and Boothroyd highlight its power to build trust and collaboration. Marion links it to lasting self-awareness, and Forbes emphasizes that strong evaluation strategies are key to long-term leadership success. Now let's talk about picking the right tool for leadership evaluations. Whether you need broad metrics or deeper feedback, it's all about choosing what fits your goals and supports real growth. Surveys and 360-degree feedback both bring value, just in different ways. Surveys are great for tracking broad leadership behaviors over time. They're quick, cost-effective, and easy to scale. 360 degrees offers richer insights, tapping into how leaders are perceived across relationships. They blend data with personal feedback, making them ideal for coaching and emotional growth. Your choice depends on the goal. whether it's tracking performance, supporting development, or shifting culture. Some teams use both for a fuller picture. Research backs this up. Robbins finds surveys ideal for benchmarking. Maddox and Boothroyd show how diverse feedback builds empathy and trust. Marion connects 360 degrees to self-awareness and coaching. And Forbes frames feedback as a key driver of leadership culture. Let's see how Ohio Health uses surveys to strengthen leadership and boost engagement. With tools like the Gallup Q12, they're turning feedback into action and building a culture that listens, grows, and leads. Ohio Health takes a data-driven approach to leadership evaluation through its annual Associate Opinion Survey, supported by platforms like Workday and Kronos. A key piece of that is the Gallup Q12, which measures employee engagement across 12 key areas, from trust and clarity to growth. The results generate actionable insights: how effective leaders are, how satisfied teams feel, and how well communication flows. These findings guide leadership development and strategic planning. Ohio Health also partners with A Great Place to Work to turn feedback into meaningful cultural shifts, earning ongoing recognition for its workplace culture. Insights are shared across departments and targeted plans are built to address gaps, driving a cycle of listening, learning, and leading. Their leadership competency model ties survey responses directly to core behaviors, helping leaders see where they're excelling and where they need to grow. Gallup's Q12 adds national benchmarking, while Castanew research dives into how communication affects trust, making feedback more than data. It's a tool for shaping stronger leadership and culture. Now let's take a look at how Ohio Health uses the 360-degree feedback to grow leadership from the inside out. By gathering input from all angles, peers, supervisors, and direct reports, leaders gain real insight into how they're showing up, and where they can improve. Ohio Health uses 360-degree feedback as a core part of leadership development, especially in programs like the Physician Leadership Academy. Leaders get input from peers, direct reports, and self-assessments to build emotional intelligence and collaboration skills. Tools like Grapevine evaluations focus on communications, decision-making, and teamwork, while Pulse 360 brings behavioral insights tailored to clinical environments, like empathy and emotional awareness. The feedback includes peer ratings on collaboration, subordinate scores on support, and how closely self-perceptions match what others see. These insights shape development plans and are reinforced through coaching, workshops, and follow-up check-ins. Ohio Health goes beyond collecting data. It builds a culture of growth, accountability, and psychological safety. Tied to their physician career framework, the feedback becomes a personal roadmap for leadership. Research by Maddox and Boothroyd shows that 360 degrees fosters meaningful behavior change, especially in interpersonal areas. And by using multi-source input, leaders strengthen trust, empathy, and resilience where it matters most. Now let's dive into the metrics that matter. At Ohio Health, survey data isn't just collected. It's used to track leadership impact, employee engagement, and progress toward big picture goals. They use it to tell a story. Participation rates show how engaged employees are. High numbers reflect trust. Low ones may signal burnout or disconnect. Completion rates matter too. They reveal whether surveys are clear and relevant across departments. By tracking results over time, Ohio Health spots trends in leadership, morale, and communication, then adjusts training and culture strategies based on those findings. Survey data is tied to bigger goals, like boosting teamwork. If collaboration is a priority, leadership reviews feedback on communication to measure progress. These insights are shared quarterly with leadership teams to support decisions and ongoing improvement. As Forbes notes, leadership metrics only work when tied to strategy. Singh emphasizes responsive feedback loops, and Marion highlights how intentional design turns data into meaningful action. Now let's talk about turning that feedback into action. These leadership metrics aren't just number. They capture how teams grow, collaborate, and move forward together. Ohio Health uses the 360-degree feedback to track leadership growth with intention and clarity. Peers, direct reports, and self-ratings provide real, behavior-based input tied to everyday work. Leaders gain insight into where they shine and where they can grow, especially when patterns repeat. Ohio Health tracks progress over time in areas like empathy, collaboration, and strategic thinking to ensure feedback leads to real change. The ripple effect is powerful. Better leadership improves team engagement, trust, and communication. These metrics support a culture of growth, where feedback isn't just collected, it drives transformation. As Maddox and Boothroyd highlight, empathy-based feedback fuels behavior change. Marion emphasizes how recurring themes guide targeted growth, and Forbes reminds us leadership progress lifts entire teams. When it comes to leadership metrics, it's all about zooming in for insight without losing the big picture. For Ohio Health, 360-degree evaluations are the best fit for leadership assessment. They focus on behavior, culture, and strategy, gathering feedback from peers, supervisors, and direct reports to reflect real leadership in action. This multi-angle input helps leaders pinpoint areas for growth with practical behavior-based insight. Coaching and progress tracking turn that feedback into meaningful change, strengthening trust, collaboration, and communication across teams. As a strategic tool, 360 degrees supports big picture goals like succession planning and leadership development. They're more than assessments, they're fuel for lasting growth. Again, research backs this up. Robbins links structured feedback to performance gains. Marion shows self-awareness drives ongoing improvement. Maddox and Boothroyd highlight the ripple effect on team dynamics, and Forbes frames feedback as a roadmap for culture, strategy, and future leadership. Now let's bring it all together. From data to decisions, these metrics help leaders see where they're making a difference and where there's room to grow. We've explored how surveys, Gallup's Q12, and the 360-degree feedback each offer a unique lens on leadership. When used together, they give a fuller picture of impact. But evaluation isn't just about data, it's about development. In healthcare, strong feedback drives better communication, accountability, and culture. For Ohio Health, 360-degree evaluations rise to the top. They align with core behaviors, support cultural growth, and build trust, making them a key driver of leadership excellence. As the research shows, Robbins links behavior-based surveys to consistent feedback. Gallup connects engagement with performance. And Maddox, Marion, and Boothroyd underscore how 360 degrees foster empathy, growth, and cultural alignment. Forbes wraps it up. Great evaluation drives strong teams, lasting culture, and better outcomes. These references help shape my understanding of leadership evaluation, from structured surveys to multi-source feedback, and how they drive meaningful growth in healthcare. Thank you.